So the first thing we're going to do is create some list views. There's lots of areas in the system where you can view your data in lists, such as supplier lists, customer lists, bank accounts, any of your invoice lists, etc. The example that I'm going to go through with you today is a customer list. So when you go into your list view, you'll be guided by a kind of creation wizard type tool, which helps you along each step of the process, which looks a little bit like this. So you're going to start by picking your columns that you want in your list. Then you'll sort them into a column order that you want. You'll then have the opportunity to filter out any data that you don't want in your list, and then decide the order in which you want the list to show. So what relevant information you want at the top and at the bottom. Finally, you'll be able to give it a name, and you'll have the option there to deploy this list to the rest of the organisation or not. So if it's just a list that you're going to use for you to view in your own data, you can just keep it to yourself, or you can deploy it. Okay, so let's go and have a look at what that looks like in the system. So this is our Intacct interface that you'll all be used to at the moment. If I drop down my applications menu and go to accounts receivable and have a look at my customers, what you'll see here is your standard list of customers. So you'll see you've got the customer ID, the name, some address details, and the total view. So in this scenario, we'll just pretend that I'm a credit controller and I want some different information on that list when I'm looking at it. So I'm going to go to views and create a new view. Here I'll be given the options of the columns, as you mentioned, that we can pick. So maybe I'd sort of say, I don't really want to see the full address in order for me to contact and chase people. I'm going to want phone numbers, email addresses, things like that on there. I might also find useful to see if anyone's on hold, when their last invoice was, if they've got a credit limit, their terms. On these lists, you can do Control and F, and you can sort of search a word if you're looking for something in particular. So I'm going to take the last invoice date, which is ticked there. So to make things a bit easier, I can have a look. So I'm happy there with my columns. So I'm going to click Next along, and I'm going to now have a look at, do I want to see them along my screen? So this is just a drag and drop, and you can get the order that you want. So I'm going to put all the sort of contact information and the customer information there, and then I'm going to put the rest of my information there. Okay, so once you're happy with your order, again, you'll click Next, and you'll then go through a screen that will give you the option to filter your data. So I can say here, if I wanted to, I want to filter out zero balances, or I want to have a look at a certain type of customer. Maybe I want to filter out direct debit customers because I don't want to chase direct debit customers and they're set up as a customer type. So you can put all different types of filters on there, values over a certain amount. Maybe your company only chases certain amount values. Okay, so I'm not going to put any filters on mine, but I'm going to just press Next when we're happy with that. This list here will then pop it in order, so you can say you want it in maybe the customer name order, customer ID number. You might want the sort of numbered order or alphabetical order. I'm going to put mine with the total due order. So you can sort of make a sort of hierarchy of the order that you're doing, or just leave it like that. Okay, so if I click Next, I should then go to the final stage of my process where I can give it a name. So I can just going to call this one credit control. And this one, because it is for credit control, is going to be a shared list. I'm going to share it and deploy it across the company so that everyone can see it. Okay, I'm going to click Save. So click Save, and I've gone back to my screen. You'll see that nothing's changed. This is the original list. But if I go here, I can now see any extra lists that I've created. So you can have multiple lists. There's no limit of the amount of lists that you can have. So if I click Credit Control, and all that data has changed. So I can see more information that I would need as a credit controller to do that piece of work. If you want to edit the view, you can go back and edit and sort of tweak it until you can get it right.